What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're continuing our positional preview series for the New York Giants. This time we're doing the interior lineman, the interior defensive lineman, or you could say defensive interior, as you know the NFL calls it and stuff like that. They abbreviate it as DI. Before we start on with the video, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Join the 27 squad. We're about 2,400 subscribers strong, so thank you guys so much for that. Let's hope to keep rising that. But as we continue the positional preview series, let's get right on to the defensive ends, and we're going to talk about the defensive ends, then nose tackles, then three technique defensive tackles. So alright, so defensive end, this is the guys that can be in the interior and they can be on the exterior. Like, these are the guys that you could put inside and outside. These are mostly 5 technique to 3 technique guys. So we're gonna start off with BJ Hill. Now, BJ Hill set the rookie record for the New York Giants with 5.5 sacks as a rookie. Broke the rookie record there. Yes, 5.5 sacks is not a lot, but you think about all the other defensive ends that came and gone with the Giants. You look at O.C. Newman-Yora, Matthias Kiwanuka, Justin Tuck, Jason Pierre-Paul. I don't know if they kept track of Lawrence Taylor's stats. I don't think so. But Michael Strahan, I don't know if they kept track of his stats in his rookie year. But you know, a bunch of great defensive ends for the New York Giants, and it's BJ Hill to break it. So that's awesome to see. But BJ Hill's coming into his second year. He's definitely one of the leaders on this defense, and definitely one of the best players on the front seven as we speak right now. I mean, pretty much as far as the starting guys go, he may be, I mean, it's sad to say, but he may be our best threat as a pass rusher. He may be our best player on the front seven right now. So with BJ Hill, I expect him to have maybe around the same amount of sacks, but I expect him to have a much bigger impact next year. Maybe around 7.5 sacks for BJ Hill. I don't expect him to have a lot, because I don't think anybody expected him to be a big sack artist coming out of college. I mean, he really blew us away with 5.5, but if he gets any better than what he did in his rookie year, he will get somewhere around 6.5, 7.5 sacks, hopefully. Maybe 8 sacks, hopefully. But I definitely don't want him to be our leading sack guy, because that's what we have our edge rushers for. I want our edge rushers to improve. I want them to be better than the interior guys. I don't want BJ Hill to have to pick up the slack for them. But that being said, he's solid, extremely solid. Great third-round pick from Dave Gettleman last year, and hopefully we keep that going. We then move on to RJ McIntosh, who's going to be listed as a defensive end. He's going to be a great rotational player, our 5th-round pick from last year. He didn't get much playing time last year because he was hurt most of the season, but towards the end of the season, when he did get some reps, I don't believe he has a sack, but he had a couple of pressures, couple of tackles for loss. I'm very excited about RJ McIntosh as a defensive, rotational player. Very excited about that. Now, we then move on to Alex Jenkins. Now, this is the guy that's been making quite a lot of noise in the OTAs, and I believe minicamp as well. Hasn't gotten standout player yet, but was mentioned here and there in the OTAs and minicamp. So as far as that goes, I don't know if he's really going to make the roster, because we can only keep a certain amount of guys, and we have a lot of talent ahead of him, so I'm not really sure if he's going to make it on. But Alex Jenkins should be someone to watch in the preseason, competing for a job. Has made some noise here in the OTAs of getting to the backfield, so good job there. We then move on to Freedom Akinmoladun. I'll say that again to try to make sure. Freedom Akinmoladun, or Dun. But this is a guy we just signed to the Giants. I believe when we released Robert Martin, the running back, out of Rutgers, I believe when we released him, we signed Freedom. So we'll see what happens there. He spent some time in the league so far. I gotta check out. He did not spend time in the league. He was last seen with Nebraska in 2018. His stats are like this. They are 11 solo tackles, 18 assisted tackles. That's 29 in total. 3 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. And total for his career, he looked like a rotational player to me. His best year was his rookie year, was his freshman year, with 4.5 sacks. I apologize for the thunder in the background, guys. It is raining here in Florida. When is it not? But there's Freedom there. He hasn't made any kind of noise so far in the OTAs. Once we signed him, he was completely silent. So I don't know how he's doing in OTAs right now, but preseason will definitely, like, guys, a little quick disclaimer, preseason is going to show who's good and who's not on this roster for sure. You're not going to see anybody really popping out the page like BJ Hill. You really haven't heard too much of him in OTAs and minicamp because you're just not going to hear that. You're not going to hear your offensive lineman or defensive lineman really making noise without pads and stuff like that. We then move on to one of the most interesting linemen that we have so far on the roster, and that's Dalvin Tomlinson. Now, the second round pick out of 2017, obviously, I was not happy about it. I was like, why the hell did we get a nose tackle or a defensive tackle with the second round pick when there were so much other guys on the board? But I am very happy with the Dalvin Tomlinson pick. I am very happy with him right now. We look in his rookie year, he did play 3-4 defensive end when we were still in the 4-3, and he played well. Then we are in our first year as a 3-4 defense with Snacks Harrison, and he played well again at 3-4 defensive tackle, 3-4 defensive end at the 3 technique, which is the same thing as 4-3 defensive tackle. It's the same exact position, guys, so please don't get that confused. But then we trade away Snacks Harrison for a 5th round pick. I don't want to hear anybody talking about the thing. Just get over it, all right? Get over it. Then we move Dalvin Tomlinson to nose tackle, and you know what? He plays great. He plays better, actually, as a nose tackle than he did as a 4-3 defensive end or 4-3 defensive tackle or in the 3 technique. He played a lot better, and Pro Football Focus gave him a lot of love. I mean, he's getting a lot of love everywhere. So Dalvin Tomlinson, I expect with a full season at nose tackle, he's going to be the guy that is going to be the anchor on that in the middle of that defense. He's definitely going to force. He's forced a lot of pressure. He's forced a lot of pressure, more than a lot of people thought he would. So he's known to force some pressure. He's going to be a big guy at that nose tackle position, and I'm excited to have him here. We then move on to John Jenkins, another nose tackle. And I don't know, he's a guy along with Alex Jenkins. John Jenkins and Alex Jenkins both come from the Saints. They haven't really done anything. They both have made some noise in the OTAs, but I don't expect them to make the roster. Should anything happen, John Jenkins is most notably known for his time with the Chicago Bears. I think that was his best years were with the Bears, and that's pretty much it. So I don't really know if he's going to make this roster. He may be a surprise, but who knows. We then move on to our 3 technique. We move on to the 3 technique, which is the same thing, guys. It's the same exact position as 4-3 defensive tackle and 3-4 defensive end. They are 3 technique, defensive tackle. Don't call them a 3-4 defensive end, please, because you get them confused with like the BJ Hill. Basically with in the 3-4, you pretty much only have 1 defensive end. Technically, you have 2 defensive ends on the field, but basically you have 1 defensive end on the field. Like BJ Hill can play the 5 technique, but you are not going to see Dexter Lawrence, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. Dexter Lawrence playing 5 technique. You're just not. But he is a 3-4 defensive end. But he is a 3-4 defense. It's still going to be a defensive tackle. They just call it a defensive end. But he's a defensive tackle because the person next to him is a linebacker, so they had to end the defensive line. You know, if you know what I'm saying. But defense. We talk about Dexter Lawrence now. Dexter Lawrence. Now, I will forever be questioning this pick, and I very much relate it to Evan Ingram, right? Evan Ingram, when we drafted him in 2017 with the 1st round pick, I wasn't happy about it, but I wasn't mad like, oh, he's going to be a bust. Because he's not going to be a bust. Dexter Lawrence is not going to be a bust. You just don't wish you drafted him. So he's going to make an impact on this team. Like Evan Ingram is going to make an impact on this team. He is already making an impact on this team. Do we exactly need Evan Ingram? Was he the best player to choose there? No. But he will be a fine addition. It's one of those situations where it's a good situation to have, where you get the guy you don't, where your team drafts the guy you don't want, but they're still going to make an impact on the team. They're still not the guy you should have gotten, but they're going to make an impact on the team. Dexter Lawrence is going to make an impact on the team. He's just not, he wasn't really needed with that 1st round pick, 17th overall. So, that being said, we have him anyway. He's our 3-4 defensive end, defensive tackle, and he should be a fine addition with Dalvin Tomlinson there. I don't imagine anybody really running against us. BJ Hill can stop the run as well. He's more of the athletic type to stop the run. But Dexter Lawrence is going to be a fine addition there, the first round pick out of Clemson. Sure, he was the worst option there on that Clemson defensive line, but we have him. He should be a good fit. And I'm excited to see, what he's going to do next year. He has been known to rush the passer a little bit. He just can't do anything laterally. He really can't. As far as sideline to sideline, if a quarterback is out of the pocket, it's pretty much done. Dexter Lawrence is out of the play. So that being said, we'll see what happens. We then move on to Olsen Pierre, the guy from Arizona. Now, I expect him to make this roster as a depth guy behind Dexter Lawrence, or maybe he'll start ahead of Dexter Lawrence in preseason and things like that. But I think he's the guy right now at 3 technique, and then Dexter Lawrence will eventually fit his way to the first team, because that's what they do at rookies all the time. We then move on to Jake Ceresna, and this guy is a defensive tackle, whatever you want to call him. He spent time with the New York Jets and then spent time in the CFL. He has been making noise in OTA, so look out for Jake Ceresna. I gotta get used to saying that name if he's gonna make this roster, but he's actually been mentioned a couple times in OTAs and minicamp, so keep your eye out for Ceresna. All right, Jake Ceresna. We then move on to Chris Slayton, our 7th round pick in this year's draft. I'm rooting for Chris Slayton. I always root for my drafted guys because I don't want to waste a draft pick. I don't care if it's a 1st round pick or a 7th round pick. I always root for the draft pick. So as far as Chris Slayton goes, what I see from him on film is not bad. It's not terrible, but we just have so much talent. It's not fantastic talent, but better talent than he is. I don't really know if he's going to make the roster. I know for sure he will make the practice squad. So he will be a New York Giant during this season. I just don't think he's going to make the 53. I think he's going to make the 10-man practice squad. So that being said, that is the interior lineman for you guys. Let me know who you guys think is going to make this roster. Let me know who you think is not going to make this roster. Who are you most excited about? Who's more overrated? I want to know everything in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I will see you guys in the next positional preview.